Connor, owner of Amelie Scott Designs, and I'm also one of your Bernina ambassadors. I am so excited to share with you today a little video on how to make this cute little in the hoop mug rug project. This is done 100% in the hoop. As you can see, it has a little like a pillow pocket back, so you don't even have to bind it. So let's get started. I want to show you real quick some of the supplies that you're going to need for this project. First of all, you're going to need a 5" by 6.5" piece of batting. You're going to need a 5" by 2" piece strip for the side. You're going to want to have a 5" by 5" piece of fabric for your background. I've included the SVG files for those of you who have Cameo electric cutters. So if you want, you can just print off your flower. Remember, it will need to have some heat and bond on the back. I use Heat and Bond Light. If you don't have a Cameo, and the way we're going to do this video today, we're going to do it without the Cameo cutout, since not everybody has a Cameo. So if you don't have a Cameo, you'll need a 4.5" by 4.5" scrap of fabric for the flower. You're also going to need two 5" by 4.5" pieces for your pocket bags on the back side of the project, and I'm going to tell you how to prepare that in a minute. You're going to need some thread, of course. I use pink for my flower, yellow for my center, and green for my quilting. And you're going to want to have some like painter's tape so that we can tape down some seams. This is really important, and I'm going to talk about that when we get to that step. You're also going to want to have some wash away Wonder Tape, 1/4" size. This stuff is really wonderful, and this is how what we're going to use to make our seams. I've already done this one, so you can see I've got this little seam all ready to go. But what you do is you take a 5" strip of this tape, cut it off. You're going to lay it on the 5" edge of your background fabric. You're going to press it down really good with your fingers. You're going to peel the paper off, and you'll see there's a little shiny, sticky residue. You're going to fold that over. And what's nice about this is this tape washes out and it doesn't gunk up your needles. And you know how sometimes when a pattern tells you to fold over a 1/2" or a 1/4", and some people fold over 3/8 inch or, you know, a 1/2", and we're all on different sizes. This is also going to help to keep us all on the same path, on the same seam allowance. So I folded it over once, then I'm going to place another piece on top of that. Press it down really good. I'm going to peel off the paper, if I can get it here. There we go. So sticky. I'm going to fold that over, and now I have my nice little seam, and my two backs are all ready to go. And the last thing you're going to need to hoop about a 15" by 12" piece of no-show mesh stabilizer. You can get it from OESD, and you will want to hoop that in your large oval hoop. Alright, so let's get stitching. So how this video is going to work is I'm going to show you what the next step is. I'm going to let stitch for a few seconds. I'm going to shut the recorder camera off, and then I'll show you again when it's finished. That way you don't have to sit here and watch the whole thing stitch out. So the first thing I've done is I've threaded my machine with the green thread because it was probably the thread that blended the best. Now I'm going to just start my machine, and the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to stitch a rectangle out, and that will be my placement line for my batting. Alright, now I'm not sure how well you can see, but I do have this green placement line going all along the edges of my no-show mesh stabilizer. Now I'm going to lay my batting in between those lines. I'm going to kind of hold my batting in place, and then I'm just going to start my machine. Okay, I think you can see pretty well here that it is stitched a little, we call this a tack stitch, just tack the fabric down. Now the next thing it's going to do is it's going to give me a placement stitch, so I will know exactly where to lay my little side strip. Okay, I think you can see how it stitched out this little rectangle right here. I'm going to lay my fabric strip inside that rectangle, matching up side by side. I'm going to move my little label. Now, just like when you sew, we are going to make a seam where you take right sides of fabric together. So let's say this is my right side, because it's kind of looks the same on both sides. But let's say this is a right side because it has a label on it. I'm going to lay it right sides together, right up there along the edge like that, and then I'm going to kind of hold it in place, start the machine, and it's going to stitch a seam going across. Okay, I think there you can see that seam. Now I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to fold it back so you can see the right sides. Use my fingers and really press it out. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to start the machine and it's going to stitch a little stitch all the way around this fabric just to kind of hold everything in place and nothing shifts. So you can see the seam going all the way around the perimeter of the project. Now the next thing it's going to do, and I'm actually going to change my green thread now to pink thread, because, or whatever thread you've chosen for your flower, because the next thing the machine is going to do is it's going to stitch out the placement line for the flower. So let me thread my machine real quick. I hope you like your Bernina machine as much as I love my machine. I love this part of threading my machine. All I have to do is hit this button and watch this. This is so cool. How cool is that? Okay, now I'm going to start my machine and it is going to stitch out my little flower for me. And as you can see, it stitched out this big placement design for my flower. Now if you have your cameo cut out, you would just put it inside the flower. And note that all the petals are different, so you might have to rotate the flower around until it fits correctly. But for the sake of this video, we are just going to lay our 4.5 by 4.5 inch piece of fabric just completely over that placement line. Now instead of stitching just a straight stitch, it's going to stitch a zigzag. And the reason why it's stitching a zigzag stitch is because the people who have the cameo, we want to make sure that really gets stitched down well. So I'm going to start the machine. Alright, so you can see it did the zigzag stitch all the way around. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the hoop from the machine, but we're going to leave everything inside the hoop. We're going to lay it on a flat surface and we're going to trim out all the excess fabric. Alright, so you can see everything's in the hoop. It's on a flat surface. I'm going to pull up the fabric and I'm going to trim it out. I trimmed really close to those stitches, as close as I could without cutting the stitches. And that's what I need you to do. Then we're going to take the whole project and we're going to put it back into our hoop, we're going to put the hoop back in the machine. Now what this wonderful machine is going to do is it's going to satin stitch beautiful satin stitches around this flower. This would have taken us hours to do if we were doing this by hand years ago. Alright, so here you can see we have all these gorgeous satin stitches outlining our flower. Now I've changed my thread color to a yellow, and the next stitch is going to be, the next stitches are going to be a little fill stitch for the center of the flower. There you go, the center is, that's what the center will look like when it's finished. Now I'm going to change the thread to a green so that it can do the quilting stitch on the background. Alright, so I've threaded my machine with green thread. I'm going to press the button and I'm going to press the button again, and it's going to stitch a little quilting stitch. And there you can see the little quilting, the little stippling stitch that went all around the flower. Now we're going to put the back on. Now remember, just like when you sew something, it's always right sides together. So I'm going to lay my little 4.5 by 5 inch pieces that I prepared with my little seam with the washable Wonder Tape. So I'm going to lay one down. The edge will be flush with the edge of the project. Seam is facing up. Then I'm going to place the other one same way. It meets the top edge is flush with the top edge of the project. The seam is facing up. Now here is very, very, very important. You need to take some of that painter's tape and you need to tape over those seams. I don't care how good you are at holding things down with your fingers. The first two I did, this little round disc on the presser foot got caught right up underneath that seam. Twice, and I'm very good at holding things down with my fingers. So don't hold it down with your fingers. Put some painter's tape down. The machine, when it gets there, it will just stitch right over the tape. It's no big deal. It will tear away. So here we go. Okay, there you can see it's stitched all the way around again, holding our little pockets in place, the backing in place. Now the machine's going to do one more thing for you. It's going to do a little zigzag on the outside edge so you don't have any frayed stitches. So I'm going to just hit the button again. I don't have to change threads or anything. I'm just going to hit the button and it's going to do a little zigzag stitch for me. Okay, but you can see now how it zigzagged along the edges. Now you can remove the tape. Some of it may be stuck in the zigzag section. Don't worry about it. It won't mess up anything. It's a mug rug, people. Okay, and then we're going to take this over to our cutting board and we're going to cut as close to the outside edge of these zigzag stitches as we can without cutting through the stitches. Okay, here you can see how I've cut it out as close to the stitches as possible without cutting through the stitches. I have a little bit of pink tape in the zigzag part, but it's going to be on the inside of the mug rug, so it really will not make any difference. Now what you want to do is you're going to take one side and bring it in. I'm going to turn it right side out. And after you bring the first part out, take that little chopstick or some other little sharp implement. That purple thing is a good thing. I like chopsticks. And just poke out your corners. And then you're going to do the other side. And again, poke out your corners. There we go, and there you have it. Take it over to the ironing board, give it a good pressing to really help it lay down flat. Remember, if you use polyester thread, to lay a pressing cloth over it so you don't burn any of your thread. Give it a pressing, and you've got a cute little gift to give somebody in about 30 minutes.